All right, here's another video on the mighty Savage Impulse. I know you guys have probably seen my other videos where I rebarreled it to 22 Creedmoor, and I've done some other things. Well, I've shot a little bit in 22 Creedmoor mode and started running into a new problem. So let's take a look at this. Here's one of my rounds, and as you can see, there's a nice little dent in the primer, but it still has a bullet on the end. That's not right. So I've been loading with Reloader 16 and CCI BR4s, mostly just because I had a bunch of these and I'm not using it in any other load right now. So I thought I'd give them a try. I have used CCI 450s. Right, I do use these actually, and I got a 6.5 Creedmoor and also a 6, and no problems at all with those out of those rifles. But anyway, I was trying that, and I started getting these light primer strikes where sometimes it just won't fire, and it's not all of them. I think I shot on one case I shot like 20, and there was like 5 or 6 that didn't go off, and it's not a problem with the primers. In some of those cases, I actually put the same cartridge back in, fire it again, and it actually would fire that time. So clearly not a primer issue. And actually in the other cases, when I pulled the primer out, inspected them, hit them with a hammer, they all went off. So it's not a primer issue. I'm getting light primer strikes. And you can see this is a recent test that I did. And we'll get to that. But pulled it apart, started looking things over. Obviously, I'm interested in the firing pin. I actually pulled the extractor out of here and measured my firing pin protrusion. It was like, I want to say 55 or 60 thousandths, which according to the internet is pretty standard. And like, it seems like it has plenty of snap to it. Of course, I won't focus, but there seems like there's decent spring power. It's kind of hard to tell because this thing is so, different from anything else. I wanted to take it apart and clean it out real good and, look at the spring in there. Well, I don't know how you actually do it. Like the bolt face comes off pretty easily. Of course, now that I have it on camera here, I probably won't be able to do it. You just have to rotate this thing. Oh, there we go. To a certain spot. That pops right off. There's a firing pin. And I can get the handle out and some of this stuff apart. But from there, I don't know. It looks like special tools are needed or something. So I sprayed some lubricants down the backside of it and then used compressed air to kind of push it through and try to flush it out since I couldn't really get in there. Testing with that, it definitely helped. Like I only got a couple of misfires out of 20, whereas before, like I said, I got like 5 or 6 out of 20. But it's just I can't have any out of 20, right? Like even a single on a coyote rifle, especially even a single misfire is just not an option. So I've contacted Savage about, hey, how do you take this bolt apart? And they won't tell you. They actually said, well, it's not actually designed to come apart, or it's not designed for basically end users to be able to take it apart. I haven't done it yet. I have considered trying to send it back to them and have them look at it. I kind of have a feeling, just due to other responses I've gotten from them over various things, I have a feeling they're going to balk a little bit at the fact that I put my own barrel on it, even though, I mean, you can tell, I showed in a video, headspace is perfect. In fact, headspace is a little shorter than the what it came out of the factory, because that can be one thing, right? If you have too much headspace, meaning basically you have too much room between like the shoulder, because it'll index up, or headspace is off the shoulder. If you have too much room between this part here and the chamber, say you're way out here or something, I mean, that would be extreme, but in that case, when the firing pin hits this, it could actually just move the cartridge forward in the chamber a little bit, and you don't get enough energy on the primer to actually set it off. That's not the issue. It's just not. Headspace is perfect. I checked it again just the other day before I did this test. So now I'm just testing different primers. And so, like I said, I was using the BR4s at first. This last test that I did here was 450s and the 400s. Now, normally I wouldn't use a 400 on a cartridge of this size, the Creedmoor size. I mean, in a grate in 223. I actually do use these in my 6mm Grendel. I wanted a little bit more power for, you know, for igniting pretty good chunk of powder out of these things, and especially the coyote rifle is going to be in cold conditions and so on. But I think, well, I know that the primer cups on these BR4s and the 450s are thicker. Or maybe they're just harder material than the 400s, so it does take a little bit more to set them off. And my test kind of proved that out a little bit. So I don't know if you can see this mess, but I fired, it was like 16 of using the CCI 400s. They all went off. I did another 15 with the 450s. I had one failure with the CCI 450s. So better than I was doing with the BR4s, but still, I mean, failure is not an option. So maybe the 400s will work. I'll have to do some more testing, because again, it was only 16 rounds. But and it's hard to tell. I was trying to look at these things, and I'm sure this isn't going to focus good enough to tell anything, but it looks like the indentations on these 400 CCI 400 primers are a little bit deeper than the 450s. I don't know. I mean, they should be. They're supposed to be a softer primer cup. But anyway, I'm going to test the 400s out a little bit, and you know, it's hopefully they just work out. If not, I'm going to have to send this thing into Savage and tell them to fix my dang bolt, because there's no reason that it shouldn't be able to set off a 450 or a BR4 consistently. So stay tuned to see how that works out.